if you were a politician, if you were the premier or the prime minister, what would you do to put in policies that got manufacturing going in Canada? So over to you, Jay.
Thanks. I'd probably do the impossible. I would take a long-term strategic view. The short-term time horizon of politicians, maybe 5 years, if that, is never long enough to make really strategic investments. And it's all too easy to focus on the small stuff rather than the broader picture here. We've got, and that was the case during the pandemic. The government was full bore on developing PPE and manufacturing capabilities here in Canada to manufacture PPE. And then at the end of the day, when government inventories were full, everybody stopped buying, and the PPE companies then had real difficulty in getting their product onto the market because there weren't any standards. There were no testing facilities here. There was very little infrastructure. There's very little other types of support, even to get them into international markets. So you really need to take an overall strategic view of what's needed to build a manufacturing sector. And again, that is far beyond than any election time horizon that the politicians usually work towards. So I don't know if that's impossible to take a much more strategic, longer-term view, but unless we have that, and then of course a view where the federal government has to work with provincial governments to achieve the opportunity that is there. We still operate on a tremendously fragmented basis where we're operating at cross purposes. So coordination, long-term vision, and a much more comprehensive strategic view.
Yeah, without a strategy on all levels and from all political parties, we're not going to be able to have great manufacturing and keep great manufacturing in Canada. So I agree with you wholeheartedly. Jay, you have been around manufacturing a long time. What do you see as the biggest challenge for manufacturing to stay competitive and grow in Canada?
Well, I think there's certainly, everything is changing so rapidly, and the competitive pressures are huge. And I would say, manufacturers are going to go where the money is. They're going to make decisions around where the best commercial opportunities are. They need really supportive policies in order to help them make decisions about investing here and building here in Canada. But I think manufacturers themselves have a role to play in realizing that their job is creating value for their customers. Is not just getting product out the door, and then now looking at new technologies and what sort of new capabilities that those technologies that can provide them in doing business better. But at the end of the day, it comes down to money. Vision without money is hallucination. And you've got to. Most of that money comes from internal cash flow within the company. And unless manufacturers are making really good strategic decisions themselves, know how to generate value for their customers, they're going to be facing difficulties, and just be prepared for the risks that lie ahead. Those risks are also opportunities. But today, more than ever before, no company can operate on its own. There's lots of support out there, and it's really a team sport today in order to compete, I think, going into the future.
So look into the future, Jay. We just got about 30 seconds left, and tell us what you see the future for manufacturing in Canada.
Well, I think it's really bright. I think it's certainly going to be different. Far fewer people working. We've got 25% of the workforce are going to be retired in the next 10 years. So we know we have to be much more automated, much more highly technology intensive, and we need a workforce that's prepared to get us there. And I think maybe that's going to be the biggest challenge that we face.